when you're not in your lane, and by that what I mean is your true path in life, what feels deeply true to you in your heart, in your balls if you're a man, in your ovaries if you're a woman, and in your mind. Three centers fully aligned. When you're there, failure is just another branch in your journey. You know, it's an opportunity to draw a line, take stock, and ask yourself, okay, what do I need to tweak? What do I need to shift? How do I get to show up differently? Failure, if you're not in your lane, can feel like the end of the world. It can feel like uh, the worst thing that's ever happened. And even smaller failures, you know, if you're doing anything interesting in the world, you should be failing in some way every day. But it's just feedback. It's just an opportunity to go, oh, okay, so that was the output of my inputs. And what I mean by your inputs are your thoughts first, which string into beliefs about whatever it is that you're doing. And then the actions that come after that, or rather the decisions and then the actions. So what happens when you are not in your lane is that momentum can be completely killed by any kind of failure. And momentum is the compounding of an alignment of your thoughts, your decisions, and then your actions, and your response to the effects of your actions in the world. Momentum is like crack, right? Momentum, whether you're an artist and momentum is just flow for you, whether you're an entrepreneur and momentum is success and servicing more clients or gaining more sales and serving more people, whether you're a sports professional and momentum is, you know, beating your PBs. If you're not in your lane, momentum is so hard to build. And speaking from massive experience, it's everything. It's everything. Because it's the compounded effect of seeing your thoughts come to fruition and having that cycle maintain and build and expand and evolve. It's crack. And it should be. It's you connected to the universe. It's you in full alignment with who you really are, thinking, speaking, acting, doing, all in alignment with the same version of you. You're not wearing any masks anyway. You're not trying to prove anything to anybody. You're not clasping for anything. You know, you've realized, oh, it all comes from here. The reality works like this, you know, and the feedback is back into us like this. It's a perpetual cycle. My job and the job of all the Nourish offers that you can find below, or you can start the journey of below, is to pattern interrupt that cycle and ask you, oh, is it a good feedback loop? Are you in lane? Are you operating in a way that allows that feedback loop to be something that is enjoyable to you, even when it's not in full alignment? If you're in the right lane, it's just like, oh yeah, these are challenges I'm facing. This isn't like mission critical. Everything comes from identity. You know, I had an opportunity when I was a partner in a private equity firm and we listed the companies and we did all the stuff. If you haven't seen anything about my journey or whatever, have a look on the website. You can see my story there. And I address bits of it in various videos. But when I was in that lane, when we had the fraudulent activity done to us, like we did with our first public entity, everything, 2.5 years of my life and all my money just disappeared, basically, overnight. Well, over the course of about 8 weeks. And in the subsequent weeks and months that followed, it was like walking through treacle to be active in that identity again, not just because the feedback loops weren't there, because reputationally I was fucked and all the rest of it. It was more to do with my own like connection with that lane, being in that path, being on that journey. It was like I climbed I don't know, 30, 40, 50% up the mountain of what it was that we were doing. And I could see the journey from there and what was possible. But I realized from that height, if you like, and we're talking, you know, 9 figures in revenue, a personal net worth, multiple 7 figures, etc., which all just disappeared, by the way. You know, there was other projects too, but the vast majority of that disappeared very quickly. It was that I had no desire from that altitude. And with this now event, I had no desire to kind of pick up and go again. There was nothing in me that was remotely interested in continuing on that journey. Now, it took me a minute to kind of fully admit that to myself, because it was a lot of, again, there was a lot of momentum going in that direction. But there was also a lot of momentum of the falling away and the space being filled with new experiences. And the new experiences were a little bit of a rebound in some ways, but they were expansive in so many ways I didn't know I needed to go on. You know, the last decade of my life has been such an adventure of just experiencing myself in a plethora of different kinds of environments with different kinds of people, different cultures, you know, different mindsets, different perspectives, like so many, and spending proper time in community with all these different kinds of people. And it's taught me so much. Yeah, okay, I haven't had for a lot of that time, I haven't had anywhere near the kind of wealth or consistency or you know, daily kind of rhythm as I would have liked, for sure. But that was just my own resistance. My life arc had a lot more to give me before it was going to bring me back into the world and be, you know, talking to you as I am right now. I had to go on some wild adventures, apparently, because that's what's happened. And if it was going to happen some other way, it would have, right? I want you to realize that about your life too. And let this be a moment of allowing everything that you've experienced to just be what you've experienced. You can attach whatever stories you need to, but unless they're supportive stories of you growing and you changing and evolving and perpetually aligning with who you are, and, you know, allowing everything to just be experiences that you've happened to have had and learned from. If there's any other stories going on, then those are what you need to look at. And again, tools below for you to start that journey. But that's all everything is. And for me, that was what had to happen. And I had so many other things to learn at a really profoundly deep and sometimes often quite painful way. And I had to learn all of this so that I could create content and then tools to support people to go as deep as they're prepared to go, and as deep as reality and their soul is calling them to. My biggest lesson, interesting. I think my biggest lesson, truly, with that whole arc, is to trust myself. And again, that's what everything I'm doing for you here and everything that you'll find in the Nourish ecosystem is all about, is helping you really learn how to fully align with you and trust yourself. Because there's nothing more important, nothing at all. And that's not saying to naively trust yourself in any environment with any people. Don't be daft about this. But it is to say whatever it is that you experience both on the inside and then in your reality, to trust yourself that this is just what's supposed to happen, even if it's terrifying, even if it's chaotic, whatever it may be. Trust yourself in that, and the lessons will come so that you don't have to go through that again. But if you don't trust yourself through whatever it is you're experiencing or whatever it is that comes from here, you're operating in the frequency of mistrust. And so what does reality do from there? It keeps giving you more mistrust. That's the momentum train that you'll be on from there. Whereas if you're operating on, I try, this isn't what I want, but I trust myself. I trust myself in it. It's all good. I know this too is fine. This is exactly what it's supposed to be. Then you're operating in the frequency of allowance. You're not in resistance. And you might have more shit to go through, in which case, just keep going. It won't be forever. You know, a bottomless pit is the best thing you can ever find, because you learn to surrender. You learn to let go, and there's nothing to hit at the bottom. A bottomed pit is a fucking terrifying thing because that's going to hurt. So, how do you remove the bottoms from the pit that you fall into when things get overwhelming or you find yourself in rug pull situations in life? You let go of the need to find something. You let it find you. You let something deeper arrive. And then from there, once you're in that state of allowance, what comes to you in that space that you then learn to stabilize? And again, if you need help with this, there's tools you can use below. Is consistency, is clarity on what it is that is yours, who you are, how you show up, what's true for you to choose and go after in this world. Because all of those desires that you've ever had, not the fleeting or kind of lusty ones, but the true desires, the impulses that are moving you from somewhere deeper, those are yours. They're true. Like there's nothing more complicated to reality than that. But it's whether or not you've agreed with that on the inside and actually allowed yourself to go on the ride that those desires want to take you on. And you can't build true momentum for you unless you're operating from the right place. And as soon as you find it, you'll know, and something will be obvious in your reality to take action on or to choose fully or decide upon. So give yourself that gift. You owe it to yourself, like we all do. It's something that's unfortunately been ignored for far too long. The true centeredness of who we are in this reality, so that we can operate in a competent way for a life that makes sense to us. Doesn't need to make sense to anybody else. It's to us. And our feedback loops will validate that. So build momentum in the right direction. And what you'll find is that you're no longer responsible for your momentum. Life is. And you just get to enjoy.